I'm going to be demoing the use of exemplars in the Newspeak IDE. If we go here to the source code, we see a display of classes, and we have the option of compiling a file from source. We're going to compile bank account, and if we go to bank account, the interesting thing here is that we've got an object inspector rather than just a class browser. Embedded in it is a class browser, which, as you can see, has just a handful of methods. And below that, we have the usual object inspector stuff. Now, this object inspector, we can see that it has an instance variable balance slot, which has a value of 100. And the reason we have that is because of this metadata comment here in the class. It tells us that an exemplar for the class can be derived by calling bank account with a method balance, with a message balance colon, and a value of 100. So that tells us how to create an instance, and the IDE knows this and can therefore always, whenever we view the class, produce an instance that we can inspect and give us a context for self and its instance variables. Now, within the class itself, we can look at methods like withdraw, and again we have metadata for withdraw here, which gives us the value of the parameter, which we otherwise wouldn't know what might be a valid parameter here. And we can use that to evaluate things. So we can see that in fact the value of amount is 100, and the value of balance, which is access and read-only accessor for the balance slot, we evaluate that too is 100, and we can evaluate expressions. So if we want to know if amount is greater than balance, we can do that, and it isn't because they're exactly the same. So this means that we can basically evaluate expressions of all kinds in the context of the method, right? And apparently the print string for that is the string 100. The other thing is the debug button that shows up for the method. So if we click that, it takes us to a debugger where we can start evaluating in order, going into methods that we're calling and that sort of thing. And again, all the regular evaluation can be done. We can see here in the amount is 100, which again is determined by this exemplar in the metadata comment. We can evaluate other things, and they show up here in the evaluator. We can also, in the debugger, we have an extra evaluator where we can evaluate additional expressions, and we can also do live evaluations, so it evaluates as we go, and you can see that result. And that kind of thing might be handy, and we'll probably be adding that to the method presenters in the normal class view as well, right here. But we don't want to have that on by default because it will start occupying too much real estate. So this is the essence of using exemplars. Now this has to work everywhere in the IDE. So if we, for example, look at senders of deposit, there aren't any, but there are implementers, which is the same implementer, and in this view we still have the ability to evaluate things such as balance plus amount, and we get 200. This has to work everywhere in the IDE. It works in multiple places, but there are a few places where it doesn't yet, and we expect to rectify that soon. So that is basically the essence of using exemplars as a means of having live evaluation everywhere you read code. Thank you.